popular. You're gonna be popular.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Eric.
And we are Only Plants and Fungi.
And today in the video, we're going to be going over how the film has a lot of animal rights messaging in it and the way that animals are both being viewed and used and how this relates to the real world of people being blinded with speciesism and animal rights as a whole.
So before we start, huge spoiler alert for both Wicked films, Wicked 1 and Wicked Part 2 for Good. We are going to be covering scenes from both films. So if you haven't seen it, go watch both films. They're really good, really well made. But if you don't care about spoilers, keep watching.
Boom.
And also, second thing is, when researching the film, I came across this Reddit post. It turns out that a lot of people are a little upset at vegans referencing this to animal rights, these films to animal rights. So I'll just read this part of the Reddit post out for you really quick. On r/vegan, actually, someone posted, "Please stop saying Wicked is about animal rights." That's the title. Firstly, Gregory Maguire, the author of Wicked, has never made a statement about being vegan/vegetarian. In addition, the author is from a post-World War II era of time, and the book is an allegory towards fascism. Yes, the scapegoated minority is animals, but the story only uses animals as it's an easy difference that doesn't require too much world building. And that's totally fair. I do agree that there is so much themes of fascism and anti-immigration and so much more. I believe that these films, and of course the book, does go over themes of oppression as a whole. And I think what it really does well is it shows us that oppression is connected. It's all encompassing.
Yeah.
Because we see others as different than us. We can view them as objects or the enemy. And that's what happens here, whether it's humans or animals. But today we're going to be mostly focusing on the animal rights theme since this is a vegan channel. And vegans are not the only ones who notice animal rights messaging in these films. As a matter of fact, Jeff Goldblum, who plays the wizard, gave up meat after filming.
It's changed me. You know, after doing this movie, we talked about the animal cruelty. I stopped eating meat.
Did you?
And poultry. We need the world to work for everybody on Earth and every creature, too.
In the story, we have the two main characters of Galinda and Alphaba, both having, of course, their own set of goals and problems that they're incurring throughout the story. And so with Galinda, really just wants to become popular, have a big influence on everyone, and security within Oz's power structures without any sort of disruption. And she also wants to preserve the social order, even as she notices that the animals are being stripped of their rights and being silenced. And in contrary, Alphaba wants to defend the rights and the voices of the animals and really try to expose and dismantle the system that's exploiting all of them. And with people viewing her going against the grain of everyone else, that's why she's being seen as an outcast.
Exactly. And this mirrors animal rights activists in real life. We are seen as the extremists for defending animals. We are laughed at and mocked for defending animals because animals are seen as so insignificant.
They're just a number.
Yeah, exactly. That many people find it crazy that we would spend our time defending them when there are so many other problems in the world. But what I say is we can defend animals while also defending the other problems in the world.
Yeah.
It's not mutually exclusive. And we should be defending animals and humans and the environment as well. Speaking of human rights, the first scene where we discover that animals are being stripped of their rights, we are in the classroom with Mr. Goat, Professor Dillamond. He is the last animal professor at Chiz. The rest have been fired, sent away. And the students are being very disrespectful towards him. And then we see someone wrote on the chalkboard, actually, animals should be seen and not heard. This directly mirrors real life sexism against women. The famous and now hopefully defunct expression, women should be seen and not heard. It also is reminiscent of how Jews were stripped of their rights during the World War II era.
It's kind of ironic that Peter Dinklage is the one who is playing the goat, because he used to be vegan before, and now he's playing a role in which they're being oppressed, and so it's kind of like the opposite direction that he chose to go.
We animals are now being blamed for everything that goes wrong. Forced from our jobs, told to keep silent. A dear friend of mine.
A deer?
A cow, actually. She's been speaking out at protests. Recently wrote me asking to meet at a cafe. She said it was urgent.
What did she tell you?
She never showed, and no one's seen her since.
So this scene actually provides an Easter egg, because when Dr. Dillerman says that a dear friend of his and clarifies that it's a cow who was speaking out at these protests, that's ironic. And I feel like that is direct correlation to animal rights activists protesting on behalf of cows and going to cow vigils to stand up for cows. And this scene also provides so much more. Once again, it's all encompassing on oppression of people who stand up being silenced.
Recently, Zoe Rosenberg was imprisoned for saving animals.
And sadly, just 2 days ago, at the time of this recording, a lady was murdered in cold blood by ICE in Minneapolis for standing up against ICE. And it's awful right now because we are being silenced all over the United States. And it's a really scary time to be protesting for anything, really.
And as an activist myself, I could definitely relate to this regarding like protests, in which cops do a lot of dirty work trying to like frame us for doing things that are illegal, in which we actually aren't, just really trying to get us out and not have our voices heard anymore. In another scene, we see Dr. Dillerman forcibly being escorted out of the classroom and no longer permitted to teach there anymore, losing his access. And we see that Elphaba even is silenced. She's speaking out that this is wrong. And then right after that, they introduce the new invention of a cage and bring in a baby lion. And this relates to how there are activists out there that are trying to speak up, but they're just getting their voices shut down and, possibly even like thrown in jail. I know a lot of people who have gone to jail for wrongful accusations.
Yeah, and it's sad because Dr. Dillerman says he's going to continue speaking out even though they're taking his job away. But then we find out in the next film, Wicked Part 2, that he is literally locked away so that he cannot speak out, completely silencing his voice by throwing him into jail. And then, yes, we have the cage, which was not a thing in Oz before. This is a brand new invention. Sadly, cages have existed for a very long time here in our real world, and it's completely normal to put animals of all kinds in cages, including lions like they have here. And as we'll see in part 2, that little lion who was put in the cage will turn into the Cowardly Lion. And even he is manipulated into believing that it's Elphaba's fault that he became the Cowardly Lion, when Elphaba just set him free. So he should be thanking her. So at the end of the film, we have Elphaba and her sidekick, Galinda, going to see the wizard to express their concern, mostly Elphaba's concern, about the animals and helping them. And plot twist, the wizard and Madame Morrible are behind it all. They do not want to help. They are the ones who are turning the public against the animals.
Yeah, and they end up tricking Elphaba into casting a spell that makes the monkeys like grow wings out of them, and it starts hurting them, all for the purpose of them becoming spies and used for labor.
Yes, eyes in the skies, as they said. This is symbolic of the real world that we live in, how we are often tricked into paying for exploitation.
Yep.
In the case that we're talking about, animal exploitation. We are told, like the wizard says before Elphaba casts the spell, he says,
He watches birds so longingly every morning.
in the animal ag industry, they want us to believe that these animals are happy, that they want this, that they want to be there. And that's just not the case. These animals just want to live. They do not want to serve us on our dinner plates.
In the opening scene of the second movie, Wicked for Good, we have a bunch of like buffaloes being used for labor as well. And we see them being used to carry all the bricks for the Yellow Brick Road. And it's very demanding on their body. You could tell that they're exhausted. They're being hit and whipped. Just how like horses are in today's society being used to carry stuff and transport around.
Yes, exactly. It's really sad to see because this is a first for Oz. Oz did not previously have animal exploitation as we do here in our real world. So they're backtracking, sadly. And yeah, like here we have Elphaba, who comes down like a badass, interrupting and trying to help the animals. And I just absolutely love her. Yeah, she's so great. But yeah, Elphaba has been touted as the villain. The wizard and Madame Morrible have convinced society using propaganda that she, Elphaba, is the enemy. She's an easy target because she has green skin, she's different, she's been made fun of her whole life. So it was easy for them to use her and turn society against her. But also, the fact that she is different really makes her relate more to the animals. That's why she can relate more than, say, Galinda, who has always fit in with society. And that's why here in the real world, minorities who have been oppressed, they typically are way more empathetic towards others who have been oppressed, including animals.
So Elphaba returns with Galinda to go see the wizard, and she's trying to expose him, showing that like what a fraud he is, that he's not actually the wizard that everyone thinks that he is. And so then they start singing the It Feels Wonderful song, and he's explaining essentially how no one wants to believe that he isn't in power and could do everything that he does because they want people to feel hopeful, or just because like it feels good. And this relates to how people like don't want to give up animal products because it's like so good for them and they just can't give it up, just like that belief, like they want to hold on to it.
Yeah, but it's actually not that great for them. You can get you can get all the nutrients that you need elsewhere. Yeah, I think people, it is deeply ingrained in our culture and societal norms. So people just want to believe it's good. And, you know, even if we tell them, like the wizard said, till we're blue in the face, you know,
God,
which we do.
Yeah.
They still just want to believe that this is for the best and this is how it has to be. So here in this scene, the wizard compromises and he allows Elphaba to set the monkeys free. So now we learn the lore of how the monkeys became loyal to Elphaba in this telling of events in Wicked's version of the Wizard of Oz story. And something that I found interesting here was Elphaba apologizing for what she did to them unwittingly, and now she's making up for it by setting them free. And as vegans, so many of us feel guilty for all the animals that we unwittingly harmed before we became vegan, but we're just doing the best we can going forward, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. After Elphaba sets the flying monkeys free and the wizard exits, one monkey stays behind and he shows her that many animals are locked in cages, hidden, and the wizard has tricked her once again. And as we briefly touched on earlier, Dr. Dilliman is one of those animals who has literally had his voice taken. I know, it's awful. And then the wizard comes back and he says some animals cannot be trusted. And this mirrors our real world, how we make people believe that it's good to keep these animals locked away. And I saw something about the dairy cows being forcibly impregnated. I think it was on Quora. Someone said that it was for their own good that they're forcibly impregnated because bulls and female cows cannot be trusted together because they will hurt each other.
Yeah, and that the baby calves are separated from their mothers to no longer drink the milk because like it hurts the mothers, and but realistically that's not the case.
Yes, the animal ag industry will say whatever to cover up that they're just doing it for profit.
Yep.
And in the wizard's case, he's saying this to cover up that this is what he's doing to maximize his power.
His own power, total control of all of Oz.
Exactly. What I loved about this scene was after Elphaba sets the animals free and it causes chaos on this wedding day, she and Prince Fiero confront the wizard, and she puts her broomstick up against his neck, silences him, and says,
"How does it feel to have your voice taken away?"
And then Prince Fiero cages the wizard. So, full circle moment right there. And I love that the prince goes with Elphaba. But also, why the f was he gonna marry Glinda? Like, what? So that pretty much wraps up most of the animal rights messaging in the film. There are some cameos here and there, like how in Elphaba's wood lair where she lives, there's signs that say, "Save the animals."
Yeah.
When she and Prince Fiero go back together. And yeah, the rest of the film encapsulates the original storyline from The Wizard of Oz, but takes a very artful and separated approach as to not show like Dorothy up close. She's just like a faraway, distant appearance, which at first I was like, that's such a tease, but
right?
I see why they did that. They didn't want the attention on her,
thing.
and I think it worked really well. And Nessa Rose, Elphaba's sister, is the Wicked Witch of the East, who gets killed by Dorothy's house falling on her. And so the rest of the story is just wrapping up that story, essentially. We find out that Madame Morrible and the wizard are using Dorothy and her newfound friends, the Tin Man, who was actually Bach, the Cowardly Lion, who we met earlier, and then the Scarecrow, who we later find out is Prince Fiero, that Elphaba had cast a spell on him so that he could not feel pain. So he didn't have a brain.
And so the story really wraps up beautifully. We have Glinda, now Glinda, no longer Galinda because of the
Glinda the goat.
Glinda the goat.
The goat.
And so, yeah, she's out speaking to all the Ozians, and she's like, let's all be friends, and then all the animals come out. and she's like, let's all be one together. we won. And then, yeah, people are satisfied with that. They're not questioning it. And then you really see the change of her character here. She's no longer just going with what everyone else wanted. Now she's standing up for everyone to have justice and freedom.
She kicks the wizard out, and Madame Morrible gets locked away. And that is so badass of her. And that just shows that, you know, her and Elphaba's friendship really did change her. And we have that beautiful song of them together, how they were forever changed by knowing each other. And that really shows us that while it might not always seem like we have much of an impact on those around us, and it can be very frustrating on us as vegans or anyone standing up against oppression when the people that we love don't feel the same way, we are making an impact. We are planting seeds. We are planting seeds. And yeah, I think that was so great. It was so beautiful the way it ended. Truly a fairy tale ending. And then Elphaba survives, and she is reunited with
Prince Fiero.
Prince Fiero, who is now a scarecrow. Yeah, but I love that twist ending where she didn't actually melt, she survived, and you know,
it was all an act.
Yeah, and so it's such a happy thing. You know, in the real world, sadly, we don't have that happy ending, and that is why it's so important that every day we fight for what we believe in for a better world.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you for watching.
This was such a fun video to make, and we will see you next time.
See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.